Okay, here we are to preview for Clarke's upcoming auction on July the 14th. It's at 4 p.m. We just have 1 day preview, which is, 2 days preview, Friday and the Sunday. The sale is on Monday at 4 p.m. Starting off, we got lots of iron, but before we get into that, we have this magnificent marble wellhead, possibly 16th century and actually very good condition. Beautifully carved, does have a hairline here and some odd chips, which you'll expect for that age. In the same vein, we have this very early antique stone, what we're probably calling an urn. Look at the carving on that. Two nice early pieces. And just over here, Steve, you get an idea of the amounts of wood and wrought iron sets. Great for the summer. We've even got a wrought iron console. Moving into the main part of the sale now. We're very busy, Steve, because we've been in quite a busy mode. Moving to say we've got lots of antiques and mid-century. The sale of note, we have this magnificent, probably 18th century provincial French commode. This comes from an East End Avenue estate along with lots of other early pieces of furniture. As we're moving along, you notice we've carpets. We've got a beautiful paint decorated secretaire habitant here. Everyone's busy getting ready for the walk-in Wednesday. Before we go in the main room, Steve, I'm just going to focus on this sculpture. This is by a woman called Carol Feuerman. This is coming up in our September sale, but it's in early. We have 2 pieces by this woman along with lots of other stuff, including groppers, Russian bronzes. So that's for September. Anyway, moving into the main room, Steve, as you can see, we are still very busy. We've been catering to holidays of staff and bringing in lots of stuff. So it's still a bit topsy-turvy. It's only a Wednesday, but we will have it ready for previews on Friday. Moving right along, you see we've got lots of used furniture. We've got lots of mirrors. Big note, this sale seems to be mid-century, and Keane will get into that and he'll go over it. We have lots of chandeliers. We have a pair of these, what I would call maybe Spanish-style 19th century arch-top cabinets. Would have been great desire years ago. The market's a bit light on that now, however, still think it'd be nice. We have 2 clocks. These are all from an East End Avenue estate. We have 2 beautiful clocks. This one is actually German. We have this magnificent, now look at that, get an idea of the size of me alongside this beautiful burl walnut, bomb-based clawfoot, beautifully carved Dutch-style cabinet. Moving right along, Steve, because all the other appraisals are going to get into it in more detail. We've got lots of chandeliers, we've got sofas, Trumeau mirrors, we have a Steinway piano, we have a Canabi piano. In this back room, you'll see it's quite chaotic, but we have lots of paintings on the tables. We are, in 2 weeks' time, we will be liquidating the complete collection of an artist called Aja Junkers. He's a Latvian / Swedish / New York artist. The stuff is magnificent. It's all been in storage since 1983. We have maybe 150 oil paintings, we have prints, we have intaglios, we have woodcuts. It's a sale not to miss. If you want to buy a nice piece of art, and even as investment, it's a great sale. Be there. It's in 2 weeks' time. It will be on a Sunday, and it'll start at 12, and it will be just Aja Junkers. Before we move up away and finish, I just want to give you a quick look into my horrible office, because we have all these guitars. These guitars just came from a local home yesterday. They are Gibsons, Martins, Ibanez, and they will be coming up in the August sale. So that's getting you all prepped up. Just note in this back room, you've got Italian secretaries. Look at this magnificent Regency 4-piece bookcase with a nice secretary piece here. But look at the grain on the mahogany. Beautiful leather top in here. Nice bone or ivory handles on a really magnificent piece. This came from a Park Avenue estate. So I'm going to walk you out now, and before I finish, Steve, I just want to remind all of you guys once again to remember, in 2 weeks after this sale, on a Sunday, we have this sale of the complete collection of Aja Junkers, a sale not to miss, so be there. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Bruce Anderson, who will get more detailed.
Thanks, Ron. Some items that we just got yesterday, less than a mile from here, in an estate in Larchmont, is the 17th century, I think it's 17th century, probably Italian, carving of a bearded man. A good big carving, old surface, nice condition. From the same estate, signed Fantoni, a good size mid-century vase with sort of abstract animals and fish and people. And from a house in New Rochelle yesterday, a mid-century 50s, 60s Italian blank de Chine figure up on a pedestal sitting on a pillow, but a nice big size, nearly 6 feet high. And I'm going to move it right along here. From our big West End Avenue estate is a 3-section antique Surtout de Table. Goes like this. We have the other section, made in 3 sections, sort of turn of the century French. And down here on the bottom shelf is just a partial pieces of a big Meissen flatware set. This shelf is all the dinner plates, tureens, luncheon plates, soup bowl, cream soup bowls, a nice big set of Meissen. And up on this shelf is a Coalport Ming Rose set in very good condition. You can see the count, etc. on our website. And here's 2 mid-century sculptures. I think one is signed, one isn't. We're selling them together out of a local estate Ron got somewhere. And this, I think, is a terrific item. It's more than erotic. It's a marble composition of male and female organs, depending on which way you turn it. But it's a beautiful piece of mid-century sculpture. It's white marble that's kind of dirty. And here, from West End Avenue, is a small little bronze, but by a pretty rare sculptor named Humphreys. And here's 2 items in one lot, an articulated bronze crab, probably Japanese, or at least lift top. And this is probably Japanese too, unmarked, with elephants. It's an inkwell. That's a nice 2-piece lot. And we have a fairly good selection of antique Chinese stuff, including these wedding lantern, I won't take them down, these wedding lantern lamps. Early Republic, originally drilled to be lamps, so we know they're 20th century. They've been relamped, but they're in good condition and beautifully painted. And here, one of the they're not baccarat that I'm aware of, but a really good quality pair of bronze and crystal and marble base turn of the century urn form lamps. From the same estate, probably Sevres, is a pair of Pudi candelabra, gilt bronze with probably Sevres panels below. And more Chinese is these 2 items, but this one I'll show you was drilled to be a lamp, but nice signed underneath, under the glaze, good condition, apple green besides the drill mark. And here's a real nice monochrome Chinese antique, big monochromatic vase, unmarked, but good age, with stylized elephant handles. And a sang de boeuf vase, good antique one. This is a pair of rose famille vases with the typical gilded lizards or foo dogs on the sides. One is as is, one is not. And from our house yesterday in Larchmont, a nice selection, only 3 pieces, but a beautiful Chinese, 19th century Chinese sort of square bowl with terrific detail painting of fans, and a Famille Jeanne bottle form vase painted with birds, good age, 19th century. And again, from the same estate, an enameled charger with bats and quite interesting iconography. And in this case, maybe our best Chinese item is an antique rock crystal carving of, I guess, a man with a boy pouring tea on a beautifully carved hardwood base. This is a later addition, this metal base, but it's at least 19th century, in perfect condition and pretty rare to find rock crystal. And here's some porcelain, lots of heron, more heron on the bottom, little Meissen figurine. Here's 3 bronzes in the auction. Good size, 19th century, sort of typical classically draped woman. Another signed draped woman at the bath, I guess. And here's a classical bronze figure on a red marble base. So Empire style, maybe Empire period. On top of the showcase, from a house in Greenwich, We only got 3 things from that house, but they're all nice things. Is this big Rosenthal, artist-signed Rosenthal peacock in perfect condition. Again, you can see Karner, I think, is the artist. It's signed besides the Rosenthal marks. And in this showcase is a nice lot of art glass. This one's all one lot, 3 pieces. This one's signed Tiffany. These are unsigned, but I have a slight suspicion that this might be Tiffany here. We called it Lotz type. There's a lot of action on this lot already. And here we have Lalique, a nice Lalique bowl with birds, frosted and clear. And here a pretty rare piece of Tiffany Favril, a big fat vase in perfect condition, original Tiffany. And here a Catalan radio, good butterscotch and red, in good condition, all original. And from our West End Avenue estate, a Chinese Yixing little ginger jar, no lid, but what's really more interesting, I think, is this ivory and hardwood stand that it goes on. Turn of the century, late 19th century, a nice package there. And again from West End Avenue, if you just look in this showcase, Steve, this is one of 7 tray lots of antique perfume bottles, some Lalique, most of them by known companies. Lots of them have perfume still in them. There's a lot of action on all these perfume bottles. Here's 4 tray lots here. Back on Chinese are 2 garden seats. Vintage, if not antique, definitely vintage. This blue and white one being sold separately, and this Celadon one. I think they're being sold separately. And here, Steve, a set of 14 or 16. These are Versace for Rosenthal in unused condition, dinner plates. And probably the biggest Robert, from a Greenwich estate that I mentioned earlier, probably the biggest Robert Garcia sculpture that you're gonna see. It carved out of onyx. It comes with all kinds of original paperwork, including receipts and photographs of the artist working on this sculpture, and bills of sale in 1985 or 1986. Was quite expensive, so this is a good opportunity for buyers and collectors of Robert Garcia. Not so much Chinese furniture in this auction, Steve, but here's a really nice antique kind of table mirror, original mirror. I know you'd like to have it be a plaque, but this one was always a mirror. Beautifully carved with bats down below, and it comes with a Chinese table that's in as-is condition, but this is a pretty good lot in and of itself. Out of an Irvington estate is this beautiful antique Heriz, kind of 7x9 or 7x10, I think, in really pretty excellent condition with terrific blues and yellows, nicely drawn, a good green in it. Lots of other carpets, and here's a Kerman. Speaking of carpets, here's a 17th century fragment of probably a verdure, Belgian tapestry, people in a landscape. Needs a little bit of work, as they all do, but a good authentic piece of early tapestry. And here from Irvington is a set of Stickley chairs labeled L&J.G. Stickley. It's 6 and 2. It's a group of 8, 6 match and then a pair. And from the same estate, we can't find it marked, but we think this is probably Stickley or Stickley Brothers, maybe L&J.G., but a good mission oak cross-stretcher table in original finish. And if I forget to mention it, we have a labeled L&J.G. Stickley sideboard someplace in the gallery that came out of the same estate. And here's an 18th century French sofa, all square pegged, nice cream paint, 2-tone cream paint, probably not original, but very old paint. Always popular is this sort of 1950s, 60s bronze mounted, I think this one's rosewood, dining table with several skirted leaves, all bronze and brass mounted. Probably going to be refinished, but a nice French style table. And around it, not old, but a big set of 8 or 9 Biedermeier style dining chairs. As you can see, here's just some of the chandeliers that we have in this auction. 3 sort of cage chandeliers. There's a Caldwell style chandelier. We have a Lalique style chandelier. I don't find that it's signed. Here's the French Lalique style chandelier that I mentioned, frosted glass. A good set of 6 vintage, probably turn of the century, French style bronze mounted dining chairs, 2 arms, 4 sides, mahogany. You'll change the upholstery, but good looking chairs. And here's a little 18th century continental 4-drawer chest or commode. Probably Italian, maybe German. And that ends my video walkthrough for today. We hope to see you on July 14th, and I'll turn it over to Nelia.
Thank you, Bruce. The first piece I want to show you today is a portfolio by Joseph Albers, the American color theorist and painter. And here this is called The Interaction of Color, as you can see. This is a complete portfolio with the original slipcase. And here we have a wonderful set of color plates, some of them silk screens and lithographs. And these demonstrate Albers' experiments with color and color theory. This was meant as a teaching aid, actually, for artists. You can see we have the original liners showing the interaction of color. We have all of the original plates. It's in generally very good condition. All the interior plates, maybe just a little bit of slight soiling to the outside. Interior images are basically untouched. Some wear to the original linen-backed portfolio and slipcase. But we're very happy to offer this with a modest $1,000 to $1,500 auction estimate. The next group I want to show you is this set of photographs here. And these are by the American photographer, commercial photographer, and fashion photographer George Platt Lynes. And these are all from the same group of photos. You can see them here. We have the same model. And there's just a very slight variety in whether he's holding a cigarette, where hand placement is, so all taken within a matter of minutes. These probably done in the 1940s or 50s. We do have some with the original, let me just find it, the original stamp on the back, and some are unsigned and unstamped. These are offered at a $1,000 to $1,500 auction estimate as well. And just above here, we have a gouache by Marko Stupar. Stupar was a Yugoslavian-born painter but worked in France. This is the Quai d'Orsay, wonderful painting, a post-impressionist manner, probably done also in the 1950s or so. Wonderful use of color, wonderful brushwork, a nice piece. This is estimated at $1,000 to $1,500. And just above, in the same vein, we have by Jean Paul, Montmartre. So here we have another Parisian street scene. We've got the Moulin Rouge in the background, this one done in a pastel. And this one is modestly estimated at $600 to $900. This is probably one of my favorite paintings in the sale. This here we have a man and a woman here knitting besides a lit window. This is signed N.H. McSylvan, although unfortunately we have not been able to actually identify who McSylvan is, but I think it's really wonderfully painted. I love the details in her headdress here. This is estimated only at $400 to $600 and comes out of a local White Plains, New York estate. Just above my head here, we've got a nice large oil on canvas. This comes out of Manhattan, and this is by Alexander Fraser, British 19th century artist. This is Ishingbridge, Surrey. Unfortunately, quite a bit of poor restoration in the sky that needs to be worked out, but this is only estimated at $500 to $700. Nice big painting for a low price. Another wonderful 19th century painting is this work here, an oil on canvas of a fête galante by Auguste van Wil. And here we have a Rococo garden scene. You see the figures in lavish dress. There are some very fine details here. The way the trees are painted, the swan in the river, the flowers coming out of the planter, the background figure with the dog. I really think this is quite wonderful. Needs a bit of a cleaning, estimated at $1,000 to $1,500. To my right is a large painting that comes to us from Manhattan Home, and this is by Pierre-Georges Dieterle. This was a French painter working the late 19th into the 20th century. You can see the sheer size of it alone is impressive, but the use of light here is quite wonderful. We have the shepherd and flock just at dawn, sun rising and creating beautiful shadows and light along the grass. A little bit of restoration to the sky. This has been lined, but in overall very good condition considering the size and age on this work. The flock and the shepherd and the dog are completely untouched. This will be offered with a $2,000 to $3,000 auction estimate. From the same Manhattan home comes this oil on canvas by Johannes Helder. Helder was a Dutch 19th century painter, and here we have an unusual subject matter. We have a woman with a child blowing bubbles. I think it's really quite charming. I love the way it's done in this trompe-l'oeil manner. We have a signature down in the lower right corner. This is estimated at $1,500 to $2,500. Just before we get to the last couple of paintings, I want to quickly show you, this is an ink on cardboard actually by Arbit Blattis, and this came to us on a walk-in. What's interesting about this is the artist brought this to Loewy's for framing in New York and saw two of the workers, I guess on a slow day, playing chess and decided to draw the scene and had them frame it right there on the spot. So this is offered with a very low $300 to $500 estimate, but great story behind it. The last work I'm going to show you is by Robert Swain Gifford, just up here, and this is called Windy Day at Bullock. Swain Gifford was a renowned American tonalist landscape painter, and here we have what's actually an Orientalist scene. So you can see the figures docked at the shore, loading or unloading goods, and in the background you can actually make out pyramids, palm trees. So this really is an unusual scene, unusual subject matter. We're very happy to have this. This actually has an old Centennial label on the back, offered at $1,000 to $1,500. So again, a small taste of what we have coming up in this sale. I also want to mention we do have our single artist auction of Adja Junker's paintings coming up on July 27th. So be sure to check out that catalog as well. And we will see you on Monday. Here's Keen with the Mid-Century Furniture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nelia. I'm very excited to show you our mid-century selection for July, and I'll start right here with this magnificent and monumental Paul Evans wall-mounted cabinet. This piece is signed Paul Evans beneath this lower left door here. It's also dated 1967, making it one of his earlier deep relief pieces. This gilding on the front, the deep relief, and the structured and sculpted fronts make this an excellent piece, an excellent example of Paul Evans' brutalist style. 2 slate insert tops, riveted patchwork edge in fantastic condition, estate fresh, one little piece coming off right there, not a big problem. Like I said, it's signed. These doors have all the weight of a quality Paul Evans piece. Interior drawers, like I said, estate fresh, original condition, a great addition to any Paul Evans collection or any mid-century collection. Next, I'll show you my absolute favorite pieces in the sale and some of the best chairs that I've ever seen. That's just from my aesthetic perspective. They are Ib Kofed Larsen from Christensen and Larsen, a Danish designer who is famous for these chairs, which are called the Elizabeth chairs. They're both rosewood, have gorgeous, gorgeous lines, a great bucket seat. Like you see here, just seamless design. You don't see any of the joints or no screws, nothing. It is just a great, great chair. Obviously, if you want to swing to this one, you can see that these have the original cushions and the original upholstery, but they will need to be redone as they haven't been changed in decades. They're each marked on the bottom with on the interior of the rail. I won't flip it over, but you'll see it online, that the Christensen and Larsen branding mark on the bottom. Like I said, an amazing, amazing pair of chairs. If they weren't garnering so much interest before the sale, I would definitely think to bid on these. Moving right along to another recognizable piece, and another very nice piece is a second Powell Care Home PK61 table, nearly identical to the one that we had in the last sale with the same Danish marking on the bottom. The only difference is, and this might make the difference in terms of bidding interest, is this marble, although it is Cipollino, is absolutely flawless. The other one had a slight deformation or natural deformation, but deformation nonetheless. And this one is just spotless. It is just a gorgeous piece of marble. The base is in perfect condition. You know, if you're a fan of care home, this is one of the pieces that will make your collection iconic. We have plenty of other stuff that I could go over. We have tons of custom Swedish and Danish and American modern chairs from the same estate as a lot of custom American modern desks, Dunbar, another Danish desk, Milo Bowman style chairs, chrome and upholstered with Milo Bowman side chairs. Here's a great set of 4 chairs here. Classic lines, nice weight. Another example of classic mid-century is a 670 lounge chair and 671 ottoman from Ray and Charles Eames for Herman Miller. This is an earlier one. This one is in great condition, slight cracking to the leather, but a lot of them you'll see has a lot more wear. This one is just age wear, not too much use, so nice original condition. The only issue with this is this cushion was reupholstered probably back in the 80s. Didn't do a very good job, needs to be replaced, but the frames are excellent rosewood. Classic, all the feet are intact, no cracking, no damages. Great grain on that. And like I said, another classic example of the mid-century. More Milo Bowman, chrome and upholstered chairs. Nice chrome and marble top insert table in the style of Bowman. Mastercraft table. If you remember from the last sale, we had a set of 6 dining chairs with the same design. This console is very, very nice. For mid-century lighting, we have many, many lots, but these are 2 examples that I'll show you now. One is this Hanson, New York signed floor lamp, the brass and chrome floor lamp that you usually see in a table lamp model, but this nice large example should do fairly well in the sale. Also, right here, we have a nice early Kamer chandelier. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 tiers. It's a nice round shape, not as tiered and not as lowered as you usually see them, which is a great, great look. From the bottom, as it was hanging in the house, this has an amazing, amazing look to it. All original shades, and this chandelier by Kamer is a great example of mid-century lighting. Another exciting lot we have is this Paul Evans patchwork burl walnut executive desk, 3 drawers on each side, and just a monumental desk. A great, great piece, and the opposite side of the spectrum from what Paul Evans is usually known for, but also recognizable in his woodwork. This piece does have several condition issues. No severe damages, they're all aesthetic, all just some patchwork. Easily made to look in original condition, and the great thing about this lot is this is not the only piece in the lot. There's also this piece right here, which is also by Paul Evans, same vein. This one is in slightly better condition, smaller veneer losses. You can see that some pieces just need to be glued back on, but this has the brushed metal interior front, a nice credenza. I know you can't see the whole thing, but there's some gorgeous pictures online. Both pieces, one money at $1,000 to $1,500. A great, great addition to the Paul Evans that we have in this selection. Also right here, if you want to just get me in for scale, this is a great size Sputnik style chandelier. Slightly more contemporary, but it is just has an amazing look. It is huge. I mean, it's just and it also has a finial on the bottom here. It separates. Suggestion would be to make this in a 2-piece wall-mounted unit, which would just set your room apart. Great piece right there. Style of Pierre Generet. Nice set of 2 upholstered chairs. Beautiful bamboo inset and inlaid console. Great 1980s, late 70s look to this. Walnut, custom-made coffee table, nice American modern pair of chairs. Also an excellent set of the Sette DS80 lounge chairs or benches or day beds. Good condition, slight cracking, maybe an old repair to the end of one of those, but structurally now they're in great condition. And that'll do it for me. We have plenty of more to see in the mid-century selection, so I suggest you take a look at the website. But until then, I'll shoot you over to Whitney, who will show you the jewelry and the silver. Thank you.
Thank you, Keenan. I'll be starting July 14th's preview auction of jewelry in sterling with a large grouping of Judaica we have for this sale, over 40 lots. beginning here with this Sadaka box by Yakov Davidoff. It's a beautiful sterling box with enamel plaques on either side on this beautiful marble base. It is signed and dated 2005. Next we have an Etrog box here, and this is by Ari Ophir. He was a professor at the Bezalel School of Art. And next we have one of over 12 yads in this auction. This is a beautiful antique yad inlaid with pearls and emeralds. It's a beautiful piece in this auction. And here we have a very large antique Kiddush cup with a nice inscription here, a gilded interior, and followed by this mezuzah case. It's by Henrik Vinograd with this beautiful enamel work here. Nice design to each side. It is missing the scroll, but it is signed and dated on the back. And last for the Judaica that I'll be showcasing in this preview video is this beautiful piano menorah, and it is by Shuki Freeman. It has a nice inscription. It does open, a lot of movable parts on this piece. Really extraordinary quality. And moving on to two lots of jewelry in this auction, we have this 14-karat hunter case pocket watch. It does have a beautiful engraving of a church in this central cartouche. Another side is also quite pretty. And here we have an 18-karat yellow gold men's Geneve watch. And moving on to the sterling selection in this auction, we have this pedestal tureen and underplay with a beautiful swan finial. And if you take a look at these dogs' heads with rings, a very nice 800 silver piece in this auction. Followed by this salad set, these two utensils, really wonderful quality with beautiful work on the handle here of a lobster and a nautical design to this piece. Another pair of serving pieces in this auction are these beautiful Victorian serving spoons. Floral design here with a nice gilded bowl. And last, for the utensils in this auction, we have this wonderful pair of tongs, Tiffany & Company, in the Richelieu pattern. Beautiful piece from a Manhattan estate. And moving to Mexican silver, we have these 4 sterling goblets by Juventino Lopez Reyes, one of 2 Mexican pieces of sterling in this auction. And here we have a 19th century footed teapot. It is by a silversmith named F. Diosne. Beautiful piece with a kind of fruit finial here, nice footed piece, wooden handle. And here we have a Tiffany & Company very large mirror, an easel back mirror here. It is monogrammed, beautiful piece in this auction, conservatively estimated at $600 to $900. And last but not least is a very extraordinary piece in this auction. It is a mid-18th century repoussé teapot on stand with beautiful, beautiful details to this piece. If you can take a look here, there's a lion. On the other side, there's a swan. Each of these cartouches have some sort of family crest or shield. Beautiful, beautiful details in this piece. Even on the stand, we have these stylized dog's head on the footed base. Beautiful piece by Thomas Gilpin, mid-18th century, And that wraps it up for the sterling jewelry in this auction. We hope to see you in our July 14th auction. Thank you.